All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope you all had a great weekend. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. So we always want to make sure that we start our day off by taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade. There we go. Preparing you for any outcome. Sending yourself body, mind, spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So last week we talked about a framework that um I want us to start to kind of build everything in, right? Um, Before I continue, drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay, just to make sure we're good. Perfect, appreciate it. So we talked about this framework, right? This works framework. If you missed last week's session, definitely check it out. Um, but I want to, in order for that framework to really be implemented, right? We have to we have to have a vision, right? A plan, a direction. So today we're we're not just going to talk about change, but we're going to walk through kind of a practice, if you will. Um, and this is a step-by-step process that the goal is to empower you, and it has the power to transform you and take you through the steps to help you make that transition into the next best version of yourself. Right. And we're all at different stages in our lives. We're all experiencing different things in this very moment. Right. And so this is for anyone that has ever wanted more from life, more joy, more fulfillment, more success, whatever whatever it is, be it personally, professionally, um, better health, deeper relationships, or simply just more enriching and engaging life, right? And it all starts with a foundational truth that to achieve something that you've never had, you have to become someone you've never been, right? And if we think about it, if we were the person that could achieve the things that we desire, we'd already have them, right? We'd already have them. So we're not that person yet. So we have to put in this work, right? The works framework to become that person. So today we're going to dive into how we can start to become the type of person who doesn't just dream, but actually achieves the dreams, right? And how by embracing change and taking intentional actions, you can craft a future that mirrors your deepest desires and your highest aspirations, right? That next best version of yourself. And I know that for for everyone at some stage, change can feel daunting or overwhelming at times, right? And it asks us to step outside of our comfort zones and challenge our limits. And regardless of where you are, regardless of how much you have achieved, at some point you're going to feel that uncomfortableness, that uncomfortable feeling as you move to the edges of that new comfort zone that you've created, right? But I've said this before and I'll say it again. We all have untapped potential. We all have it. Within each of us lies power, not just to envision a better future, but to actually make it happen. We all have that power and we're all worthy of that. So by the end of today, I want us to leave with I want us to leave inspired, right? That energy that we've had over the past couple weeks, I want that to continue to build. But I also want us to have specific tools and strategies that you can start to carve the path to becoming that person that you need to be, right? Um, so let's go. The concept of more, right? When you say, when we say we want more out of life, what are we really saying, right? More happiness, more success, more peace, right? They're not just desires, but they're signals. And they're signals that you're ready to expand into another level of awareness, another level of experience, right? New horizons. And you're ready to embrace a new level of or new understanding of fullness of your potential, right? You're ready for that next level. So I hope everybody has their pen and paper because this is going to be kind of a working session, right? This is going to be a working session. So I want you to think about what more means to you personally. When you say, I want more, what does that actually mean to you? Right? Is it more creativity, more influence, more connection? Right? Or maybe more adventures, more experiences, more quiet moments with your loved ones. What does more mean to you? Right? And start writing this down if you're able to. If you're driving, just start to think about it on your drive. What does more mean to you? And I want you to start to create that picture in your mind, right? That more picture, right? And as you start to picture it in your mind, and what I want us to do is I want us to get, as we go through this morning and as we continue to move forward, I want us to, as we're visualizing these things, I want us to get extremely detailed in what this means, in what this looks like, in what this feels like, because I want us to get to the point where we can truly feel what this feels like deep inside, right? In your heart, in your gut. I want you to get those butterflies. I want you to get nervous when you think about this because I want you to really be able to feel what it feels like now. So as you're going through this experience and you're working to overcome these hurdles and these different challenges that are cultivating you, I want that feeling to continue to increase the drive, which will then continue to enhance the will, right? Absolutely. Um, So get that picture in your mind of what more means to you, right? And then the question is, after we have that picture, is how do we get there, right? And the true answer lies in our ability to embrace change, right? Achieving more isn't just about doing different things, but it's about fundamentally becoming someone different, right? Not changing who you are at your core, but evolving into who you are meant to be. So this transformation, obviously, it doesn't happen overnight, and it requires courage. It demands resilience, and above all, it needs a willingness to step beyond what's familiar and step beyond who we are today to really challenge ourselves to reach for more, right? That more picture, right? You have to stretch beyond your current boundaries, your current limitations, and your current experience. You got to take one step outside of that comfort zone. And so think of it as, so if you talk to scientists, right, and neurologists, neuroscientists, they talk about the brain as a computer system. And really, if you think about a computer system, right, a computer operating system, it actually mirrors the brain, right? And so think of this process as upgrading your operating system, right? The old version has served you well. That old you, that old person has served you well. It's gotten us to where we are today, right? It got us here. It's done a phenomenal job. We've overcome tons of things. We've overcome hurt. We've overcome pain. We've overcome fear. And we've done some phenomenal things that we've enjoyed. It got us here. But to move forward, to run new applications of bigger dreams, of higher aspirations, we need a new operating system. We need a new, more robust version of ourselves. So as we continue to move forward, keep that vision of more at the forefront of your mind, right? Hold on to it. And as we explore how to initiate and sustain the changes that are going to lead from there, right? But we have to embrace change. And embracing change isn't just necessarily, it isn't just, it's not a necessity, but it's an opportunity to really step into a future of creation, right? A future of crafting your highest ambitions and your deepest desires, right? So we had that idea, that vision of more, right? So the next thing is, I won't say 10, 5 years from now, 5 years from now, visualize who you are. Who are you 5 years from now? And this who you are includes everything, right? Where are you living? Where are you living? What does the house look like? How many bedrooms? What does the landscaping look like? How many windows? Are they floor to ceiling windows? My wife likes tons of windows, tons of natural light, right? Or are you looking out the window of a city apartment, seeing skyscrapers Stretch towards the sky. Are you stepping outside to the sound of a river flowing right next to your home on the countryside? What colors are the scenes, right? Is it fall time? Is it winter? Or are you somewhere that doesn't have winter and it's a nice brisk morning? And then what sounds do you hear around you? What birds are chirping? What animals do you hear in the grass? Like, let yourself really live in this moment. And I want us to, I want us to approach this from a childlike perspective. You'll say 4 or 5, 4 or 5 years old, right? At the age of 4 or 5, you don't have any limitations. You can achieve, you can do everything. Logan says, and she's 8, I got it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Right. So as you're crafting this vision of yourself in 5 years, right, approach it from a childlike perspective with no limitations. No limitations. A child's imagination is limitless. No filters. They're not limited by the impossibilities or the unreachables that as we become adults, we put these boxes on ourselves, right? They're not limited by that. So imagine if you were 4 again. Every dream is super vivid, right? Every possibility is open to you. Only possibilities, right? So what does this future really look like? Picture you can be anything, living anywhere, doing everything that your heart has ever desired. Where does it take you? Where does it take you? Right? Now, as you're crafting this, I want you to feel the vision with all of your senses, right? We've talked about what it looks like, what colors are there, what sounds are around you, but what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Is there a taste in the air of fresh pine trees or a salty breeze coming off the ocean, right? What textures are under your fingertips? What type of countertops do you have in the house? What type of texture do you have on the outside of the home? Like, really engage every sense, right? To make this vision as real as possible. Now, as you're crafting that vision, what emotions do you feel? Do you feel joy? Do you feel peace? Do you feel exhilaration? What do you feel as you stand in the living room of your home? These emotions are the essence of the deepest desires, right? And so they're super powerful indicators of where your heart wants to go, where your heart desires to go, right? And what it desires to build and who it wants you to become. So really sit and think and feel what it feels like. I love it. I love it, Jeremy. Yes, you are. What does it feel like? And I started having these conversations with Logan at night, and we talk about because I asked her what does she want to be when she grows up? She wants to be a veterinarian, and she wants to be a scientist, right? And so every night we talk about what it feels like to be a world-renowned veterinarian. What does it feel like to be a world-renowned scientist? And I have her describe the feelings. Imagine what it would feel like to do this. What did you do today? What experiment are you working on? And what does it feel like as you're working on that? What types of animals did you help today? And what did you feel as you were helping those animals? Right? So keep the vision and keep the feelings in mind, right? It's not just a daydream. It's really your heart and your soul speaking to you about your true path, the life that you're going to lead, the person that you're going to become, right? So I want you to keep these images and these feelings close because they're going to guide us as we continue to map this out in practical steps, right? Because again, the goal is to walk step by step through this so that we have a plan and a vision that we can then create a plan from to then implement our process of works, right? Daydreaming is daydreaming is the first step to creating a new reality. You got to see it. You got to see it. So the next step, right? So it's we have a vision of where we're going, right? We have the vision, we have the feelings, we have the experience, what it feels like for our future self. Now we have to pinpoint the gap between who we are currently and who we need to become to realize that vision, right? So this gap represents not just a distance in time or skill, but a bridge between your present and your potential. So, what qualities does your future self embody that you're currently working to nurture, right? What qualities does the future self have? What characteristics do they present? Greater confidence, sharper focus, unwavering discipline. What qualities do they have that you might currently be working to develop? Right? Imagine how your future self operates on a daily basis. To achieve the things that they've achieved, what do they have to do daily? How do they start their day? Do they start their day early? Do they wake up later? Is their morning filled with energy and purpose? And if so, what do they do to create that? Does your future self have a specific regimen that they go through, right? Regular exercise, or have they cultivated a habit of continuous learning? So maybe they have a routine of exercise, reading, meditation, journaling, then they get to work, right? What does that morning look like, right? Perhaps it's learning a new language or learning a new piece of technology, right? So visualize your future self, how they manage stress, right? Visualize them managing stress with grace, right? What relationships are they building? How are they networking? Who are they networking with? Right? How do they balance their personal life and their professional life? What habits and skills have they developed that makes all of this possible? And then how do they approach challenges differently from the way you approach them now? How do they navigate change differently than you do now? And I'm getting ahead of myself. So identify these traits, these habits, right? These characteristics, right? Because that visualization, we're able to understand, okay, this is where they are. This is where I am. Now, these are the steps. These are the things that I can start to work on to develop so that I am becoming that person and I'm living that person's life now, right? So hold those thoughts and ideas along with the feelings as we continue to move, right? We're going to start to map this change now, right? Because the next step is creating a method to implement that change, right? And a method that you can use is stop, start, continue, right? It helps you focus on specific behaviors, right, that need adjusting to align closer to your future self. And don't approach this from a perspective of judgment, right? It's not about feeling bad because you're not doing these things now. That's not the goal at all. The goal is just to identify what the gap is, what that person in the future is doing, and then creating a plan for us to start doing those things. It's not about making yourself feel bad because you're not doing them or you haven't done them or you haven't even thought about them. That's not the point. That's not the goal, right? The goal is simply to identify them as an observation. No feelings, no emotions attached. And now we can say, okay, what are the first actions or habits that have been holding me back from doing these things? Right? Could be procrastination, spending excessive time on social media, right? Neglecting the the self-care, right? So start, stop, continue. What things do I need to stop doing? Right? What things do I need to stop doing that my future self is no longer doing? Let's jot them down. What things do I need to start doing that my future self is doing? What things am I currently doing that my future self is also doing? So those things I'm going to continue to do. Right. So, like I said, it helps us to focus on specific behaviors that we can start to adjust and align. Right. So, we talked about the stop doing, right? And procrastination, spending excessive time on social media, neglecting the self care. The next piece, right? What things to start doing, right? If your future self manages stress better, or different, what tweaks can you make to how you currently handle stressful situations? That's it, right? Maybe it's starting a meditation routine, right? Maybe it's organizing your tasks more effectively. Maybe it's actually scheduling things on your calendar instead of just winging it, right? Or maybe the vision of a healthier you, maybe it's a exercise routine. Maybe it's choosing different food. And then that continuing piece, right? You've already created some consistencies, right? Maybe you're already networking in a professional field. Maybe you've started good habits of reading regularly, right? We started the accountability group and we talking about journaling, and we're getting in that habit of journaling. Maybe you've started those things. Those are things on the in the column of continue, and acknowledge the benefits of those habits, right? And make a conscious effort to maintain them, right? So here's just an overall example. Let's say the goal is to become healthier, right? So we need to stop, right? Stop skipping our morning exercise, because consistency is really the key to fitness, right? So we need to stop skipping our morning routine, our morning exercise. We can start to prioritize our sleep and setting a regular bedtime routine and sticking to it, right? Rest is super critical on the recovery side. And then continue eating nutritious meals, right? We've already improved our eating habits. We've changed the food that's in our refrigerator, right? So we're going to continue eating nutritious meals, and maybe we'll implement meal prep, right? Planning meals ahead to avoid last minute unhealthy choices because you don't feel like cooking or you don't feel like doing this. But we'll continue to eat those nutritious routines, and we'll continue to put things in place to help us continue that habit, right? Start, stop, continue. No judgment, no feelings. These are things that I can do right now. All right. So each of these actions, they serve a strategic purpose, right? You're uh, stopping eliminates the barriers that we've placed, things that are stopping us from moving in that direction, moving to that next stage, that next phase of life, right? Starting initiates the new behavior, right? So we talked about that habit loop, right? We identify the habit, the habit that we want to change. We identify the action, and we immediately replace it with something that moves us in the direction of our desire, right? So we stop, we start new behavior, make new neuronal connections, right? That'll help us move toward our goals. And then we continue to reinforce those with positive behaviors that are already contributing to our success, right? So as you're going through this week, start to write those down. What can I stop? What can I start? What can I continue? Right? And write them down so that we can start to feel them and allow the feelings to come out outside of our body, right? And then we can make it an intentional habit. So we have a vision. We understand what it looks like. We understand what it feels like, what it smells like, what it sounds like. We understand what the gap is between where we are and where we're going. We have some tools to help us identify the things that we need to do to start moving in that direction, now the next thing is actually taking the action. The actions we take every single day is what makes all of this work, right? So a practice that you can do to make sure that you're taking the action is to ask yourself every morning, do the actions I plan to take today align with those of the person that I aspire to become? Do the actions that I plan to take today align with those of the person that I aspire to become? Right? Daily, this alignment it's not about the big grand actions. It's about 1%. Are these one things that I'm doing every day walking me in that direction? Every small choice, every small decision that we make over time makes a profound transformation, right? And then, equally as important as the actions, the words that we're speaking to ourselves. Our internal dialogue can build us up or tear us down. So we have to also begin changing the narrative that we engage in with ourselves. And not, I have to do this, but I get to do this. I get to empower myself. I get to change my habits because this is who I'm becoming. This is who I am. And we can start to speak to ourselves as if we're already that person. This is who I am today. And affirmations, we can use them to reinforce the abilities, reinforce your worth, reinforce your capacity to change, to continue to rewire our brain, right? To change those words that we used to use with our old self and implant new words that we use with our new self, right? Example, I am a leader who inspires my team every day, right? I am a successful trader that is extremely disciplined in my trading plan, and I take daily actions that are in alignment. Well, self-affirmation is it's not just about motivational talk, but like I said, it's about it's a research-backed strategy that enhances your ability to meet personal challenges and embrace opportunities because what it does is it rewires the brain. You're literally changing the words that you use, changing the words that you use changes the way that you think. Changing the way that you think opens you up to understand things differently, opens you up to a greater level of awareness, right? So when you constantly affirm your future identity or who you are, you're beginning to accept it as reality today, right? Which then influences your actions and your reactions throughout the day. So each morning, evaluate your planned actions for their alignment with your new self, right? Use positive self talk to reinforce your new identity. Okay. So, step by step actions that we can take that'll take us from what people call daydreaming about our desired future self to actively living in that moment today, right? It's super critical to evolve into that person because we have to become a new person to achieve, to live the things that we desire. Transformation you seek isn't just about achieving, right? We talk about this all the time. It's not just about the end goal. It's about the person you become in the process of achieving that end goal. That's really, really, really the key. So who are you becoming? And I challenge you to start right now. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, not next week, right now. One small change that your future self will thank you for. Something as simple as setting an alarm 30 minutes earlier to make time for a morning walk, or choosing a healthier meal, or meditation, or reading. Every great journey, everything starts at one step. It might seem small now, but each step accumulates, each step compounds, and it leads us toward the vision that we desire for ourselves. We have to embrace discipline. We have to enjoy the small wins. We have to celebrate the small wins as we continue to transform and evolve. Become who you need to be. Become who you need to be and watch as the life that you've always dreamt of start to transform, start to come into reality because you're creating it. Let each day, let each day be a brick in the foundation of your future. Build it with intention, with care, and with an unshakable belief that you're capable of greatness. That's Mindset Monday, good people. Floor is open. Thoughts, feedback, questions.
That was so. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Kay. Go ahead.
Thank you. That was so encouraging, and it reminds me of something that I heard somebody say recently, in a different way. But all work works, and
All work works.
all work works, and even when we don't see it happening on the outside, it's happening internally. All of the affirmations and the visualization, and the intentionality to actually do the inner work that a lot of people don't do, because it is a lot of work to do this. It takes so much effort. And I think it takes a lot of effort not to beat ourselves up when we think that we have done not the right thing.
Yep.
And so all work works. And this work, I'm just so excited that you're doing this for us, and that we have the opportunity to actually to see it, take notes on it, to see it, and to internalize it. And thank you for this space. And thank you for Donette for opening more space for the accountability that I don't get to most times, but to know that it's there. This is such a great group, and I know that I'm different than I was back in November, and this is even further, this is even, this, you can't help but to propel forward if we do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. K. Appreciate you big time.
What up, though?
Joy, what's the deal?
Slow motion. So this weekend, I know I tell y'all every time I do a weekly assessment of myself because that's the only way I can keep myself in check. And I was able to check off of my list on it on to all iPhone users. I don't know about y'all Androids. We got a to-do list or a reminder list, and it doesn't go away until you check it off. And I've been utilizing that because it's free. It comes with the phone. And I was able to check off what you call it, a therapy session for myself. Here in Detroit, we have mobile IV clinics, and one of my blood pressure medicine been making me dehydrated. And I've been very weary of it because my doctor make me paranoid if it doesn't come from his approval. But I went ahead and did it. Because I felt like I was a little bit magnesium deficient, dealing with thyroids, fatigue, stress, and perimenopause. And man, when I tell you I got that IV, I wanted to run. I wanted to I wanted to do the half of the yard I didn't finish from last week because it rained last week, so I couldn't get to finish to do it. And then the first thing I wanted to do was get on the charts, right? Soon as I opened that computer up, because she told me, I hope you ain't got nothing to do today because that magnesium is going to chill you out. I'm like, what? Ain't vitamins supposed to perk you up? What you mean chill me out? I feel like I could run a marathon. Man, I opened up that dang on laptop, and it was like, as soon as I clicked Smart Trader, I was out. I was out. It felt like it wasn't a drunk feeling. It felt like I had like about a whole bunch of shots at 1800 without the hangover feeling, but I felt good. I said, dang, she knew what she was talking about. I mean, she is a nurse, but and basically she was the package that I chose, it will help me give more clarity. It helped me to, get over this fatigue because I've been so fatigued. That long COVID and insomnia ain't no joke. And I know it's been messing with my confidence that I built up. I know I haven't been A1 on my charts. And I told myself this is going to make me feel good. And I actually looked at it because I've been having a problem with short-term memory, looking at something and then writing it down. I was able to do that without looking back to double check. And I surprised myself. My husband like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I remember something. He said, what, to cook? And I was like, no, not that. But this week, I'm trying to get better. Like, I'm working with a nutrition. Man, let me tell you, she's like, so I noticed you didn't jot your food down. I was like, yeah, I forgot. Look, let me tell you about this journaling thing in me. I can't help you if I don't see what you're eating. I was like, I don't. But I do plan on, I am working. I got everything set and ready. I made these order slips for trading. So in order for me, once I do, it's basically my trading strategy on the order slip. So then that way, each one of these sheets represent the order I have, and I'll be able to journal on that page. I print them out. They sitting there. And I'm going to try my best to journal my food. I'm going to try my best to journal my thoughts before I forget them. And I know I said I'm not going to use try, but this time I have to because I have to muster up the strength. My job consumes my life.
Yeah.
I'm an analysis by trade, so I analyze all day. I get tired of making decisions. I don't want to make decisions. And so going back to that childhood, like this morning, those dreams and those thoughts, my dream is not to make a decision one day. or make one decision a day and I don't have to do nothing for the rest of the day, smelling salt water, looking
I
at
love
white
it.
clouds.
I
But
love
thank
it.
you for today. Thank you.
Absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. And kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. That's a celebration, right? Taking those steps to start to heal our bodies and give our bodies the things that we need, right? The nutrients, the rest, right? That's major. That's major. So kudos to you. That's a celebration. Appreciate you. Any other thoughts, feedback? No?
Okay. Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Ms. Donette.
How are you guys? I took so much notes here, but I think the one thing that hit me the most is my future self will thank me for, and I definitely have to like fill that in. And I've been, just thinking about it, So I love the start, stop, continue. That was something, but I guess in everything, right, we have to do the work. And I think that's like major for me now that I'm realizing that, we can become aware of a lot of things. You brought up a lot of things how do we get there? But a lot of it still stems from us doing the work and celebrating those wins. And I think um, being aware of that is really, really important because we have to do the work in order to see the results. And bridging that gap, that is the gap that we don't really want to do, but we have to do.
Yeah.
Right. So just remember that. And that's what I'm taking away from this is that we have to do the work. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. We got to do the work. Got the plan, got the vision. Now we got to take action. Any other thoughts, feedback before we wrap it up? No? Good people, listen, man. Listen. All right. Just like I ended it. Let each day be a brick in the foundation of your future. Let each action be a brick in the foundation of your future. Build it with intention, with care, and with unshakable belief that you're capable, you're worthy of greatness. So let's go get it today. Let's go get it this week. All right. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. You guys have a phenomenal Monday. We'll talk in the community. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.